Hi, my name is Kevin Taylor. How credible or how trustworthy is the Electoral Commission boss? This is With All Due Respect. With all due respect, now before I start this show, I would like to let every viewer understand why elections or the right to vote is part of our basic human rights as Ghanaians. It is also because electoral process was valued by our forefathers. That's why it is enshrined in our constitution. Now, elections must be conducted with integrity for strengthening democracy, yes, furthering development, and for social and individual security. Whenever elections are held and the integrity is challenged, the bedrock of democratic principle of political equality to me is never honored. In such cases, the citizens lose interest in the electoral process, making the government of the day look weak and illegitimate anytime elections are mentioned by citizens or by the opposition. Now, there is also the Electoral Commission, which is supposed to be the fair referee to see to it that our electoral process is in the right direction. We all know as Ghanaians that there are certain challenges which need to be buried to achieve electoral integrity to meet the attributes of effective electoral governance. They include building the rule of law to substantiate claims to human rights and electoral justice, building professional, competent electoral management bodies with full independence of actions to administer elections that are transparent and merit public confidence, removing unnecessary barriers and regulating uncontrolled, undisclosed and opaque political finance. To overcome these difficulties, the role of Electoral Commission is most vital. When the rule of electoral laws, the right to register, the right to vote without discrimination is ensured, then we the people can have confidence in the electoral system and most importantly, the Electoral Commissioner. Now, Jane Mensah's Electoral Commission must conduct our elections so that it is technically credible, free, fair and acceptable in the perception of the stakeholders, including the Ghanaian people. Yes, we the people of Ghana. The Electoral Commission or the Commissioner also have to be transparent in all the dealings with stakeholders. The competence, transparency and credibility of the Electoral Commission can shape the overall perception, confidence and integrity of our election. My fellow Ghanaians, all that I have stated are self-explanatory and factual, but the question is, how credible is our electoral system, and more importantly, this new Electoral Commissioner, Jane Mensah? Has she conducted herself to deserve any respect or confidence from we the people? With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, survival of democracy depends hugely on how the Electoral Commission conducts itself, hence the need for dispassionate assessment and evaluation of their activities. Now, before I proceed, let me ask these critical questions. Why was Macmenu, yes, Macmenu and Anoche, the NCA boss now, denied entry into Kenya ahead of their elections in 2017? Did an American government agency issue a report advising that they are denied entry based on their hacking activities in Ghana's Electoral Commission system in 2016 elections? What exact role did Anoche play for the NPP in 2016 elections, for which he was rewarded with his current position as boss of the NCA? Is this the same NCA that is the custodian of the Ghana card database? Who or which company will be maintaining the database for the new voter register? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. Ask these serious questions because the Electoral Commission boss, Jane Mensah, has unilaterally removed STL from the Electoral Commission, hired a new IT director who no one knows. This person has no track record. Who is this person? And where does he come from to handle such sensitive information? My fellow Ghanaians, we were all in this country when Peter Macmenu, the 2016 campaign manager of the governing NPP, and Mr. Anoche, the NCA boss, were prevented from entering Kenya ahead of their 2017 elections. Peter Macmenu was the honorary chairman of the Democratic Union of Africa, a body of center-right political organization in Africa, which includes the NPP and the main opposition party in Kenya. The two, according to the American Intelligence Network, were deported because they were meddling in the Kenyan elections and have since not come out with concrete rebuttal. They have not answered any question about that. This government has also refused to ask them questions about why they were deported from Kenya. We seem not interested in these matters. Why was this NPP government so quick to fire Charlotte Osei, who actually oversaw their victory in 2016? Is it because they saw her as a threat and that she'll be asking too many questions why the EC IT system was hacked into during the 2016 elections? These are legitimate questions we have to be asking. Our democracy is on life support, my fellow Ghanaians. Suddenly, we have become enemies of our own good. When people ask EC questions about their fairness, we tag them enemies because we have allowed foolishness to cloud our brains. The Electoral Commission needs to reinvent itself as a truly independent umpire of the electoral process in the country before the 2020 elections, or else it will create serious problems. In fact, there will be war in this country. For now, the scary truth is that Ghanaians have no confidence in Gen Mensah's Electoral Commission. It is time the EC and the stakeholders, the public inclusive, work towards restoring the image and integrity of the Commission before the 2020 general elections. The country needs this intervention because of the overpolarized environment. The Electoral Commission after 2016 elections is under serious strain. Statements and pronouncements emanating from the EC, especially from Bosman Asare and Gen Mensah, do not help matters. These two crooks, I state it again, these two crooks have actually made matters worse at the Electoral Commission. They act more like NPP party foot soldiers than referees of our elections. What happened at Ayawaso was just a warning. The worst will happen come 2020 if nothing is done about those crooks occupying the Electoral Commission. Sometimes one can't fault the opposition because the posture of these two personalities gives credence to the reservations being expressed by the opposition parties and other stakeholders. My fellow Ghanaians, we have to be very worried about this slave queen posing as an electoral commissioner. With all due respect, Gen Mensah's closeness to the ruling party attending their social programs, including parties, her problems with the NDC General Secretary and Bosman's description of the NDC as a threat to our democracy have strongly affirmed their pro-NPP tag. This slave queen shows no remorse lying through her teeth anytime she gets the opportunity to talk as a referee. This woman, since her appointment, has not been able to put aside her party colors. She has lost all the integrity in this short period. The Electoral Commission now looks like a daycare with old men and women acting like babies. They only scream at small things and get mute when serious questions are asked. It has gotten to the point where a whole EC boss, Gen Mensah, pays media houses to grant her interviews just for her to show her pettiness as a leader. Charlotte Osei might have had her own problems during her time at the EC, but she never displayed this kind of childish, irresponsible, and uncultured behavior. The EC boards should be more calculated and respected individual who can manage their emotions in situations like these. What we have now is a slave queen who thinks the more she exhibits her ignorance, her stupidity, and her affiliation with this government makes her competent. This is terrible and horrifying to say the least. Her appetite to act childish before people who are not in agreement with her autocratic and unprofessional demeanor exposes her every time she opens her mouth. My fellow Ghanaians, we are in a crossroads, and if we think this is a joke, then we have to come again because this woman will run this country into chaos come 2020. This is a fact. You don't need an ignorant bleaching pastor to tell you this. This is the gospel truth. The posture of this EC boss should be a concern to every Ghanaian. The big question is, why does Gen Mensah want she and her selected staff to have the password to the EC system? What are they doing that Charlotte Osei and Afarijan did not do? The secret is, this EC boss, Gen Mensah, wants to hand over the IT password to one person so that they could control what goes in and comes out of the Electoral Commission during the 2020 election. Even Microsoft, yes, Microsoft, one of the biggest companies in the world, has system administration password. Even WhatsApp groups even have multiple administrators. So how come a whole EC of Ghana wants to hand over its password to just an individual? This is something we should be worried about. A woman who speaks without restraint to me can never and should never be allowed to handle such a difficult position. My fellow Ghanaians, we have come a long way to allow such petty slave queens to mess with our little democracy. It is a shame that Ghana as a country has gotten to the point where we have allowed stupidity and foolish tribal hypocrisy to hinder our way of thinking. We are quick to read meanings into legitimate questions when they go against us. But we have to understand that The monster we are grooming today at the Electoral Commission, all because of our thirst for power, or to stay in power for good, will come back, knock at our doors, and consume us in broad daylight. Until we get rid of this ignorant slave queen, Jan Mensah, we should be ready to see brothers kill brothers come 2020. I've always said, I'm just a messenger. You can choose to listen to me or take me as an enemy. But the truth that I speak today will always come back to haunt us. My fellow Ghanaians, we have to be smart. My fellow Ghanaians, we have to ask questions and demand reasonable answers. This EC boss is a recipe for disaster. That posture might or will plunge this country into war. My name is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor, and this is With All Due Respect.